But welcome everyone. Of course, I've started rambling before we even started recording, but welcome back to another episode here on the Monday Morning Muscle podcast with Tonio Burton as your host. And we have a phenomenal guest here who's been in the industry for a minute now, Aaron Clark, 212 Pro. And he has a lot of interesting stories for us. So now you guys talked just a second. I heard you could mention a name, but how did you guys end up meeting?
So
yeah, you can.
So I used to live in South Florida. This was 2015, and I was good friends with a guy. I still talk with him probably almost daily, Trevor. And Trevor talks to Tonio, and so like Trevor has been a good friend and kind of like put the bug in some people's ear to get me on some podcasts and stuff. And so, to my knowledge, that's kind of what happened here. So,
okay,
Yeah.
Well, it seems like you're very active online. Your teaching style videos are, I like them. So how did that happen? When did that start?
Well, I think, knowing what to post is kind of tough because like fitness is like so many people and they're all posting the same kind of stuff. And I used to just post me working out, lifting weights, and like, physique photos. And that stuff's cool. Like there's always a lot of interest when I post that stuff, but I'm not really demonstrating any value or like giving anybody any information outside of just like, look at me, look what I can do. I'm jacked, whatever. So like, I just experimented with different types of videos. I happened to make a video with a whiteboard and everyone liked it. And I used to be a cartoonist. So like I dumb the drawings way down, obviously, as I'm making these videos, but like I have a past in drawing and stuff. So it's like super, I guess, like kind of like goes with me, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a visual, right? And having an added visual, like just me talking to the camera, if there's no one else, it's kind of weird. Like it feels weird. But when you have a board to like draw on, it just helps, I think. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I was wondering about the drawing. I was like, damn, he's really good. Like, I wonder how long it takes him to practice that. But to know that you're good at that, that makes sense.
Well, the funny thing is people will say, they'll be like, oh, you're getting better at drawing. And inside I want to be like, these aren't my good drawings, but like,
you don't know anything.
Thank you,
Oh, it'd be better if they were like, wow, this is really good information. But they're like,
well, they say that
I like
too, but
the hands look good. Your fingers are coming along real nice.
What are like the main things you talk about on your page?
Man, I've gone all over the place. I started with just like gym stuff, like, I don't know, common. One of the oh, okay, sorry, one of the videos that did the best that I made was, it's like you did one show and now you're a coach, and it was like a little like it's making fun of it. It's like you place third place out of 4 people, like, and people love that one. It's all kinds of stuff. For a while, I went like way off into the weeds, like, and was just getting really weird and creative. But I kind of steered it back into fitness stuff, Yeah.
That's actually hilarious because I did place third at a show and there was only like 6 people, and then everyone wanted me to coach them like lifestyle stuff.
It's
so
good, right?
It's hilarious. Yes.
It's fine. It's more of the funny thing of like when people use that as an accolade and they're like, oh, I got third place, I'm nationally qualified. And you're like, well, you were actually second to last, but whatever.
Right.
It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you didn't win and now you're taking people's money to like portraying that as a win to take people's money, right? That's the funny part. Well, not so funny, but it's easy to make fun of.
It's the reality, and sometimes it's easier to laugh at it than to yell at the people.
Yeah.
I was like, it's dangerous too, right? I
It's
mean,
so dangerous.
You get people who do a show and they get all these compounds that they're using because the coach told them to. Now they think they know how to use it.
It's
So now they're
wild.
doing it to their athletes.
Yeah.
And like over here, like where I'm from in Reno, it's very known for coaches here that do that. And like
Really?
you find a lot of girls, like I'll get a lot of girls who want coaching from me, but then they start talking about how the hormones are all messed up and like their thyroid is gone. And I'm just like, dude, that's something you got to figure out with a doctor first.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't know things you can use to help that? I don't. Talk to your
It's,
doctor and then we'll talk.
yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a wild west. I
Yeah.
think it's the type of people that it, and I say this like I coach people. So it's not the industry as a whole, but it has such a, like, I think it draws in a certain type of person. They're underqualified, kind of like a narcissistic, like I'm going to lead.
Yeah.
They just sell
Right.
themselves to people, and people just take their word for it. It's like a false prophet kind of thing. Like it's pretty crazy.
Man.
Yeah.
You
Make it
know,
sound good.
we
Yeah,
talked about that in the last episode. We talked about people's desire to have community and how bodybuilding kind of provides that for people.
it
So it's
does.
kind of interesting. You also kind of pair that with the more narcissistic side of, I mean, it's bodybuilding. Come on, we're standing in the mirror trying to look at the
Of
pump.
course.
You know,
Yeah.
you guys can actually see your veins. I'm over here like trying to find the right lighting to get like one bicep vein, but it's all kind of the same
Gonna
thing.
find a vein. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just one vein,
Yeah.
man. I'm so stoked. Like if I
Holding
could
your
just get,
breath.
oh,
Yeah.
if I just keep curling those 10-pound dumbbells, like a vein does show up. So
They're
that's the
in there.
trick for all you guys out there. It's a pro tip.
They're in there. Yeah.
I mean, but a lot of pros, like when we're do workout and we're looking at ourselves in the mirror, it's actually like, okay, how can we make that part better? When we're
Right.
posing, we're looking at what work we need done. I wish it was like, okay, yeah, we're perfect. Like we made it, we did it. But
No,
it's still, yeah, it's damn,
it's
we're
never
still not
that
there
way.
yet.
Right.
To the comments on Instagram, it's like, okay, they made it. But to us in our
Mm,
head, we're like, fuck, I
I
still
know.
look small.
Yeah. But that's
very true.
why, that's why you're who you are, right? It's like that voice in your head propels you to that level. I mean, if you're satisfied, you would have stopped a long time ago, right? I mean,
Right, right.
yeah,
Can always get better.
and always get better. Absolutely.
Now, when you guys talk about these, like going back to Aaron's video that really blew up for him about kind of making fun about the person that places third and starts coaching, is that like a real issue that you guys see? Is nobody's knowing nothing, giving kids like crazy protocols?
But yeah.
It's like,
Yes.
because I
Yeah.
know it's like kind of like it's like a joke online, but like how often do you see like a gram of test, or not a gram of test, but a gram of trend? Like that's kind of the joke. But like how often is that like reality?
I mean, I think more so than not, but I mean, it could be mixing, right? They'll take trend E with trend ace. Like it's like a thing they
Mm,
want to put together. Someone said it to do it online and that it works, and now you have all these kids like, well, if one's slow and one's fast, and if one stays in the system longer than the other, you put both, then you know
Yeah.
what I mean. So
I think there's no I made some video and I was kidding about it, and I was like, um, there's no hoops to jump through really
mhm.
for anybody to just like coach people, right? I was like jobs that have a similar like qualification system. I was like a witch doctor, like it's like there's no anybody can just say, hey, I'm good at this. Like I'll tell you how to do it, and that's what I mean by it attracts a certain type of people that are like have like this almost delusional belief in themselves, which is one thing. But then when you take that, that's why I use the word narcissist, because it's like almost a delusional belief in yourself, but you use that to drag others into your thing because
Mhm.
it's a great opportunity for them to like make money and
right,
like you know if they know how to talk to people. So it is an interesting phenomenon, and like I don't really know. It's kind of just what happens with social media. Um, but I don't know. Time will tell. I think that sooner or later, the people doing that, they don't keep people for a long time. Um,
right.
so
Mhm. Now, Joe Rogan just had on Derek from More Plates, More Dates. And Derek is a phenomenal resource to tell people about, safe protocols and what things do. Is there more, maybe not as popular resources that these younger kids can watch to kind of counterbalance the stupidity and narcissism that we're seeing?
Not if they're on YouTube.
No.
Nah, I mean, that's how, I mean, think about that. What's his name? Togi? He said he did his protocol. His coach asked him why he wanted to. He said to become famous. And once he put out that he was on it, look how he blew up. So they have all these kids who are, my first cycle of test and trim. And that's what they're jumping straight to is trim. They hear it's God's gift to men and they think that no bad is going to come from it later. But I'm like, if anything, it's the devil's gift to men.
Yeah. So is it people actually trying to have like successful cycles, or are they trying to just be like the next trend twins or something?
Exactly. It's all fame. I mean,
Probably
how could I be
both.
like Sam Sulek
Probably
or
both, maybe.
yeah, I mean, yeah, because
Well,
trans twins actually
well,
compete.
if that's what you want to call it, but
Yeah,
but
but it doesn't count.
Sam is phenomenal. Like his training is. I mean, everyone wants to rip on him, but like the way he talks, his demeanor. I don't watch the guy. It's an hour and a half of non-edited content that would drive me insane. But yeah, I hear that he's a good dude.
And he looks like it, seems like it.
Mm-hmm.
He's just talking to the audience, like it's just like everyone else does. But kids want to be him, and when they find out what he's doing, then they want to do it. And then when he talks about his diet, they want to do that diet as well.
100%.
And that diet is not a good
Yeah.
diet.
I mean, I think there's a part of it that's like, it's almost like a, trying to think of how to say it. It's almost romanticized, almost like the rock stars back in the day, like doing drugs, like doing like
Hmm.
cocaine and stuff. It's like, it's bad, but this is sexy. You know what I mean? And I don't give a fuck about the future. Kind of like, it's like that kind of attitude is sold and made to look cool by some of those guys, like a
Right,
Toby or something. And, it is what it is. Like, and once you're an adult, you're going to make those choices. There's no such thing as a free ride. You will
Mm.
pay eventually. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of, again, it's like everybody has a voice now, right? Everybody can just post whatever the hell they want. So it's just a side effect of that. Are you going to have that?
right.
Mm.
That makes sense. I like that.
Yeah. I think of like my early influences in bodybuilding, and I don't want to say it like it sounds sexy, but when I think of Kai Green's movies of him training in the gym and just doing posing and putting his meals in a trash bag, like that sounds awesome to me. Like I love the simplicity of that. But then on the same, I mean, I don't know, I'm sure you guys can relate, but then on the other hand, you got Rich Piana, who had an entirely different lifestyle, but they were both, you know, I don't want to say top level bodybuilders, but Kai definitely was, and Rich
Right,
was a famous bodybuilder. So I don't think anything's really changed over the years. The only thing that's changed is the way, or maybe the amount of people that these guys can reach. But it's still the same people. It's just different. It's the same stuff, different people.
Yeah, it's kind of the same. I think when I was, you know, in my late teens, and it's like, what did I have as resources on that side of bodybuilding? Like, not really anything,
Mm-hmm.
like I would just read stuff and go on those sketchy ass forums with some people who, these people were saying things, but you don't know who the person is, it would be like,
right.
Buff Daddy 69, saying
Hell
something
yeah.
about like his cycles, and everybody, he's got like 5 stars on the forum. But like, like it's people now, there's a lot of negative out, but there's a lot out. Like there's a lot of information. And there is, if you search for it and you find people who are like, you know, legitimate, actually giving you scientific information, like you can really learn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas for me, I had to dig around and then just try shit, and to figure
Oh,
it out.
Yeah, just poke
Yeah.
and pray. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's wild. That's the wild, wild west of anabolics.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's, but to to give some validity to Aaron, people are still poking and praying just based off of somebody else's recommendation. Like, oh,
Yes.
start off 400 grams of test, and then do a nice Anavar because that's safe and soft, and then maybe you could even throw in some HGH. I mean, I don't know too much about that stuff. I need to get educated soon, but I've heard some wild stuff. And I know Tonio, you guys could joke all day about people's crazy stacks.
What you see online, what people are trying. Oh yeah, you know what's funny? Because you've seen it, I've been training with my oldest boy,
Yeah,
and he's already shown me messages that he's getting. What is he taking? If he's
bro, what's your
natural?
stack, man?
But yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, just because him being so close to me, that could be what gives people the well, what if? But also just seeing how fast he's changing,
Yeah.
and those who actually compete and live, you can see how fast he's changed from day one to now. The shoulder veins that are coming, his shoulders are becoming calved. And I tell people like, see, my shoulders aren't like this on accident. Like it's just genetics. And now you see it in my little dude. But to see that, he's been working hard. I make him work out as I work out, just not the same weight, but he's
Right.
pushing like I'm pushing.
How
And
old
seeing
is he?
how it's like one of the things where it's like if I can go back in time with the knowledge I have now, what I would look like today would be crazy.
Yeah. Oh
But
man.
yeah, this is just him and his own hormones doing what they're doing, not adding anything into it. His shoulder veins that are popping, his striations that are there. That's all him. But kids see it and they're asking him if he's taking anything.
Yeah. Well, it's silly. I mean, how old is he?
He's just turned 15.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's your body is prime state then, man. I mean,
Right. And that's
you
why I was telling him too, like, dude, your test is going crazy right now. Like this is you can smell girls a mile away.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And he's at a great state to like gain muscle too. He's lean, so
Right.
everything that changes, you can see it right away. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, for
It's
sure.
funny. He notices it right away. Like he'll be like, "Yo, my chest is getting bigger." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "Because before it used to be just like flat, like couldn't feel anything." He goes, "Now, but when I do this, I can see things move." So I'm like, "There we go."
Moving in there. Yeah. That's tight, man. That's cool.
So more and more, he's falling in love with it. Like, kind of makes me not nervous, but like because he wants to play football. So I'm like, dude, we can't
Yeah.
get too big, you know.
Right.
We
Right.
have to still, act like a football player. So, but I know he's falling more and more in love with bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. My dad took me to the gym. He made me go to the gym when I was 14.
Wow.
And I remember being really pissed about it. And because I was a skateboarder, and so like I was like, that's dumb. Like I was like I thought it was stupid. Um, and then like lo and behold, a few years later, he was like, "What have I done?"
Oh no.
Because my dad is not a bodybuilder. Like my dad is a wonderful, wonderful man, but he is, that's not his thing at all.
Mm.
Definitely not. Um, uh, but yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
He's like, I knew your gifts all along.
No, he didn't like skateboarding.
Okay, I got you.
He it makes sense. It was a good thing he did. He was like, "Oh, we can work out together. It'll be good for us," and which is 100% true. It's a great activity, like you and your son. It's awesome. Um, but yeah.
No skateboarding.
No skateboarding.
Well, I don't really skate anymore. No, I'm kind of scared to try it now. I tried like a month ago, and it didn't
Yeah.
go well. Well, I didn't get hurt, so
Well, that
Were you
that
trying to
was
like just ride it or did like do a
I
move?
was just like, I wonder if I can do anything anymore, and I couldn't do shit anymore. But I was
no.
like 110 pounds when I used to skateboard.
Yeah, I
Like,
got you.
so I was really small. My little brother still skates, and he's super good. Um, but I don't know. I get scared, man. I mean, I'm sure it's like there are things like people like that I guess I wouldn't really care. like back then I would be like, I'm gonna do this thing, and if I break a leg, fuck it, you know. But
Yeah,
now I'm like, damn, if I break a leg, I can't train for like, 8 months or something crazy like that. I'm like scared,
right.
especially in my 30s. I'm like, the concrete's hard, man.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts a lot more for some reason now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Ian talked about that for years before he retired. Was he was terrified to do snowboarding and
yeah.
dirt biking, and now that he's in retirement, we get to actually enjoy watching him do that stuff. So it's a real thing.
Yeah, I would just be so angry at myself to be like, let me see if I can kickflip off this thing and then like tear my quad, I'd be like, what was I thinking? You
Yeah.
know, like, yeah.
Mm. I can't relate to skateboarding, but I took my girlfriend to see a sunset the other day, and there was a little playground, and we sat in the swings. And
Okay.
I haven't sat in a swing in probably 5 or 6 years. And I'll tell you what, I had a weird energy afterwards. Like I was super giddy, and like I felt alive. I was like, man, I'm gonna start going running again. Like I don't know what it was. It was because training's been really good. Like everything's starting to like recomp phase. Everything's starting to like I'm starting to look like a bodybuilder again, which is fun instead of just some chubby weird mass walking around with two hoodies on. So it's kind of a nice change, but the energy, I'll tell you what, I think it like knocked off like 5 or 6 years of my life right there. I was like, bam, I'm back in my 20s, baby.
Made you a kid again.
It was weird. I don't know what that's called. I don't know what kind of weird endorphin dump it was, but I can imagine it's got to be something like with skateboarding or dirt biking. I don't know.
Maybe. I can't skate good enough to really get a rush out of it anymore. So,
No, that's all right,
I'm gonna go try to swing after we get off here.
bro. I'll tell you what. Like I started doing the pumpy thing, and I got sideways to where the seat starts to lift off. It was a weird. I mean, my life's very simple. I don't have like you have like your motorcycle, and I mean you're a
Not
professional
anymore.
bodybuilder. Well, not well. Didn't you get any insurance money back, or are you just kind of taking a break
Oh
on
yeah,
it?
but I'm not getting a bike again though.
You're not. Oh,
No, I
okay.
won't get a motorcycle again.
you getting a
I
wreck?
got lucky. So I'm not gonna chance
Tonio's,
it again.
yeah, dude. Yeah, let me pull up the photos. Yeah, Tonio, the week of the Legion Sports Festival had
Yeah, day before day of checking, so day before the show.
No. You didn't do the show then, or did you?
No, I
Okay.
was just going because it's in Reno, so I was just going to be there, show my face.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Here's I'll show. I always have the hardest time finding the actual photos because it was in his story, but this is him. What, a couple weeks after with the
Yeah,
bandages?
yeah, like, and I'm still wearing like slides, sandals, because my left foot got burned up, so I couldn't wear shoes yet.
You can see all the skin missing on that tricep. Yeah, it was nasty looking. The photos were just gross.
And I gave a
and,
heads up.
and every time someone talks about it, I have to see him again. So
Well, you
Yo, it
lost.
keeps going. It's the story is getting crazier and crazier. Like the more pages that are posting it, they make it sound so extreme. I'm like, yo, like it was bad, but damn.
Yeah. I mean, you're very fortunate. Damn.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, okay,
That's
I'm
like,
done riding a motorcycle.
yeah. Yeah. Man, I'm trying to think of the guy who, I think he did a show that I did. And he is now, his name is escaping me at the moment, but he's really inspirational. He posts his progress, but he got in a terrible accident and like, did something to his spine and like his whole body. He shakes and like, yeah, very sad. But like, oh, damn, dude. Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was bad.
Yeah.
mm,
But that stuff is terrifying, man. I mean,
mhm.
yeah.
Well, I know Alex Cabanero. He's a classic guy. He had a bad accident, and that's why when he poses, his neck's always tilted.
A motorcycle,
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
motorcycle. Yeah, he beat me when in 2015 I did the San Antonio Pro, and I thought I would just crush the show. I prepped for
Mm-hmm.
like 2.5 weeks, and I came in and he beat me. And
Mm.
I wasn't at my best, but like I remember just being so blown about it, because he was like 180 some pounds, I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that it happens. I mean, especially
Yeah,
in
you look
modern
good, yeah.
bodybuilding, the
We
structure, the
did it
conditioning.
with a 2-week prep.
Yeah, that year was a wreck, dude. Basically, I mean, I don't know how deep you want to get into it, but like,
Yeah, go ahead.
I had, so 2014 was a really good year for me. And in 2015, basically everything at the end of, yeah, it's 2014. At the end of that year, everything fell apart. I had a girl that I'd been dating for like 5 years. I had a ring for her. We
Mm.
broke up. I got evicted. The company that I was with went under. MD dumped me. Everything went to shit. And like, after being like top 3 at the Arnold, like placing in the Olympia and like winning New York Pro, I ended up like back in my parents' basement with like my trophies and being like, what
Wow.
the fuck happened? I moved to Florida. That's when I met Trevor. Um, and when I was there, just I did the Arnold. I think I got 4th. I didn't look as good as I did the year before. But a lot of stuff happened, against some like girl drama and stuff. And um, long story short, um, there was like a lot of these designer drugs that would come through um, the warehouse I was working in. Everyone would take them. And there was this one, and that was given to me. They're like, hey, like, because I was really having a hard time, super depressed. Yeah, that's a San Antonio Pro right there. Um, just a wreck. And they were like, try this, man. Like, it's like painkillers without the bad effects. And then a few weeks in, I realized that I'm super addicted to it.
The
And
teneptin.
tianeptine sodium. Yeah. So tianeptine sodium is a really interesting drug because it was made for people with manic depression. And it's basically a fast acting SSRI, but it was given in 12.5 milligram tablets. But I had tubs of it. So when you take it past a certain dose, it becomes like a direct opioid agonist. So you're basically, it becomes like a cocktail of drugs in your system. It's like taking Oxycontin with like, other like tricycline antidepressants. You get this blast of serotonin, and like it felt good, but it had an hour and a half half life. So it's
Wow.
terrible because I was having to redose. And once I was addicted to it, I realized I was addicted to it. I couldn't stop because the withdrawals were so bad. I would have had to just like check out of life for, probably over a month. So I continued using it all the way to the Olympia, or I was using it there at the San Antonio Pro. And I was just a wreck. Like, um, again, there's all this stuff happening. I'm like, I'm going to compete. And people are like, nah, you probably shouldn't compete right now. And I was like, no, I'm going to do it. And I did San Antonio Pro. I lost 11 pounds. I was 221 the night before. I was 211 on the morning of, and I got second, which is really good considering the entire situation. But after that, I should have just kind of called it quits. But then I was qualified for the Olympia, and I was like, I got to do the Olympia. And everyone was like, don't do the Olympia, man. Like, just go take care of yourself. And I did the Olympia, and I just shit the bed at the Olympia, like terrible. Uh, and then I went home and checked into an outpatient center, got off that stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's why I say that year it was a rough year. After 2014, it was really a roller coaster for me. Um, but not to be like a victim or anything, but yeah, it was an interesting year.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where I know that guy from the San Antonio Pro. I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now from
John Meadows did
2015.
that show too.
Oh,
What?
really?
Yeah.
From 2015 to 2020, So I saw a video saying in 2020 you made a comeback.
I did.
So from
So
2015, what happened between the next, 5 years?
drugs,
Yeah.
cut a lot of, I mean, like because I struggled a lot because what they did is, when you go to an outpatient, they'll take you off one thing and they put me on Suboxone and Klonopin. And so then I was on them. And then, you like, it's just that, you trade addictions and then you're on these things. And then, the doctor who was prescribing it to me, he dropped dead, and then no one would give them to me. And then I was just ordering them off the internet, and I got in over my head again. Just like it was just like you know, just kind of spinning my tires um, until 2019. I competed in 2018 and made a clown of myself. Um,
Really?
and I think because of things like the San Antonio Pro, even though I was a drug addict, I was like, no, I always land on my feet. Like, fuck it. Like, I did a 2.5 week prep and I did top two. Like, I'll just kind of like slide on in there, no problem. Um, but that didn't happen. And it was a very humbling experience. I had people at a venue like come and get me from backstage and lay hands on me and pray for me and then escort me out of the venue. And I remember
Whoa.
being so angry, being like, what the fuck is these people's problem? But clearly it was me, um, you know, just being delusional.
Mm,
But um, I kind of wanted to just never show my face again after that, because obviously it was super embarrassing. But just for myself, I knew that I needed to kind of come and make it right, um, and at least do better than that. So yeah, I did a show in 2020. I competed again in 2021, but I was in the middle of a divorce, and like, you know, uh, I just didn't quite look the same as I did in 2020.
yeah.
Yeah,
So what have you been up to since then, besides, I mean, I guess in relation to the stage?
I don't know, man. I'm not sure what I want to do with it.
Yeah, you're still huge.
Um,
So,
well, I'm not huge, not like
well,
Tonio. I'm
well,
just kind of
well,
like,
Tonio's open. It's not fair.
yeah. Well,
You're comparing
You're busting out that shirt.
apples and oranges. He is
um,
busting out that orange shirt.
um, I mean, I'll always bodybuild. I'll always train and eat, and I think I have some injuries. I have some tears, and I can see them. When I pose,
Oh yeah.
and I can see that they make it harder for me to stimulate certain body parts. And it's like I can look really good, but can I look good like win a pro show good? And I don't think so.
Mm.
Um, and I think there's a thing, and I'm sure you can relate to this. It's like if you at once were like at the top of in the top three, top five, A list, whatever, and now you're like, oh, I'm making the top 10. Yeah. Like it's really disheartening. Um, and you're like, what am I even doing? Like, it's not good for me. It's not making me money. So I think, I don't know, I might do a show again, but um, I think I've come to terms that I have to be at peace with like that might be the end of that for me. I don't know. I also feel like there is I accomplished in bodybuilding everything like real fast. Like I got my pro card first try, and then like within a couple years, I was like up in the top three, top five. Um, and so I guess my question, like I was saying, is like, what am I trying to get? I don't know.
Mm.
If I can't do better than that, what am I chasing?
Right.
Because I think, I'm sure Tonio would agree, like you shouldn't just compete to compete. Like what are you doing?
Right.
What's
What's
the
your goal
strategy?
out of it? Yeah. And I haven't really been able to answer that question. Like in 2020, what I was trying to get out of it was a clear objective for me. And I don't know, at the moment, I guess um, I struggle to find out what that is.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah.
Because preps aren't cheap. You can't just
Preps aren't
hop into
cheap,
it.
man. Man, my life was a struggle when I was like doing well. I was always broke, like I was talking about drugs, like it was rough. It's not like I think back. Obviously there were a lot of good times, but like I think back on it and I'm like, oh, like um there's a lot that I don't miss for sure. Yeah.
How did you get away from that phase of your life with the different drugs and the different vices?
I think you realize that you've burned through your extra lives, like you're like, man, I can't fuck around anymore. Like I'm very blessed to have had people around me that love me and that are supportive.
Mm-hmm.
But, when you're in your early 20s or mid 20s, it's like, maybe you get a couple, maybe you don't. But like when you get older, it's like, I don't feel like, at least for myself, I don't feel like I get another chance, you know? Like, just like you said, you wrecked a motorcycle and you're like, I'm not going to get another one now. You know what I mean? And it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like that mentality of like, I can't do that anymore. Like, I know what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have some fun here and there, but I'm very careful. Like, I know what, I know what happens, like I said.
Yeah.
And,
You know what you can't touch.
well, I think that I think that bodybuilding made me really fearless with drugs.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, it ain't gonna be me, because it never was. I was just so unafraid. I would do anything and take anything. It was always like, you know, I'm not a pussy. Like it's not gonna hurt me. Like
Mm.
yeah, maybe them, but not me. Like, and so you, that only works for so long. Just like I said earlier, it's like eventually you have to pay the fine for what you did, and I think my mentality is very different, of thinking like that I can just get away with anything. And I think I used to think that a lot.
Yeah, it's
That's
wild.
wow, yeah. To think bodybuilding made you said bodybuilding made you fearless. Like that's something people don't talk about. And I don't think I've ever heard it.
I
So that's
I warn people. I'm like, once you make the decision to use drugs to make for your physique, for your performance, all of your lines will become blurred. Because like
Really.
all through high school, college age, like I didn't party, I didn't do drugs, I didn't do anything. I just went to the gym. That's all I cared about. But once you start justifying all kinds of things in your head, like, oh, this steroid makes me feel like this, so I take that so I don't feel like this. Or when I take this steroid, I can't eat, so I take this so I can eat. Or this makes me lethargic, so I take this so I'm not, and it just becomes an endless cycle. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I tell people that I'm like, be careful. I'm not saying don't ever do this or that, but just know, you know, you're opening what could be Pandora's box a little bit. Yeah.
Now, with you, was it you kind of making the decision to try certain compounds, or did you have kind of some people in your corner advocating, certain dosages and protocols?
Um, so I, when I
Maybe that's a
started
terrible
out,
question to ask. Did anyone tell you to
oh,
take
it's fine.
horrible drugs? Okay.
Um, I didn't have a coach until after I had turned pro. So I was completely just winging it,
Yeah, pinning and praying.
something like that. Yeah. I asked people, what do you think? But I think when I started and when I was trying to get my pro card, it was like this big thing that you would see, and it would be a coach and a athlete, right? And the athlete would have won, and the coach would be like, "Look, I won," And I was like, "Fuck that shit!" Like, I'm not going to let somebody else say they won. Like, I'm gonna win. So like,
Mm.
I I wouldn't. I was, you could tell I'm very stubborn.
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't want to share that, I guess. And so, I'm very fortunate that it panned out okay. After I turned pro, I worked with Fakhri Mubarak for a little bit. Um, when I came back in 2020, I worked with Johnny Castellana. I don't know if you know who he is.
No, Johnny.
Nah.
I had known him from years prior. Uh, he worked at the gym when I did the USA's and turned pro. So I kind of like knew him a little bit. So,
Okay,
but
I've seen his face before.
yeah, yeah. But I've always been very, I guess I put it like this, like I would have hate to have been my coach, you know? And if somebody was acting like me, I would be like, I can't work with you. Like I was very like, and I think it's because I had some success winging it and thinking that I knew best. And
Mhm.
so when someone else would try to tell me to do it another way, I'd be like, what do you know? Like you don't know my body, kind of BS like that. And then and sometimes it was right. I would actually be right. And so like, um, I don't know. Like I would tell anybody, if you can't listen to your coach 100%, like you need to end the relationship right away, Um, but like that's who I was at the time. So I was just kind of rogue. Yeah.
I've never heard someone say that before, that they didn't want to share their victories with people.
Well,
Is that
I don't know. I guess it's kind of a toxic thing to say, isn't it?
well,
But
sure.
it's not that I don't want to share it with people, but I knew what I went through to get there, and I didn't want somebody to like, copy and paste some documents for me and then be like, look what I did,
Mm,
be like,
Right,
no, I
right.
did that,
Taking credit, yeah.
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 I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not defending that mindset. Like, and as a more mature person, I'm like, you're an idiot. But I think that that's just how it was back then. Yeah.
Mm. And you were able to kind of grow from that.
Yeah. I learned everything the hard way.
Yeah,
You know, when
truly.
people ask, why shouldn't I do that? I could be like, well, I did it. And let me tell you what happens. Like, you name it, I've probably done it. Like, I tried everything.
Yeah.
Do you coach people now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I see. I mean, that's like the best teacher to have too. Someone who experienced
Yeah.
it. So that's a win.
Yeah, I guess so. We'll try to use it for good. But that's one of the things I'm saying. A lot of the people telling people to do things like they haven't done it. And it's one thing to read it. And I'm sure, like, Tonio, it's like one thing to read it. It's another thing to do it, and the
Right,
practical application of like what happens to you, like when you do things.
right.
Yeah, right.
Hmm.
He's like, wait,
Wow.
what you thinking over there?
Who, me?
Yeah,
Me?
yeah.
I
You
just,
look
I
like
just,
your gears are just turning right now.
I just looked at the clock and I was like, holy cow, that was an amazing story.
So, I
Sometimes an
got a
hour is
lot of
just not enough.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's crazy.
So you're just, so Aaron, you're trying to just figure out what to do now, huh? You did a show in
no.
21
I'm.
and then
What's that?
you said you did a show in 21 and then now you're kind of
Yeah,
like trying to like,
I didn't really do a good job of building my brand while I was focusing on competing.
mhm,
And I, you asked like the whiteboard videos, like I put a lot of effort into that. And I think in my head, I realized like that's what matters for me right now is
yes.
like sharing what I've learned from my experience and using that to help other people. Um, that's the best investment of my time. And if that leads to me competing again, cool. If it doesn't, that's okay. Yeah.
That's such an interesting statement. That the whiteboard is your thing now. It's what you find value in. I spent the last half decade building a brand, um, Whereas like reporting on shows and doing talk shows with like random people and like the last few months, like I haven't had like a desire to do that anymore. And I've really only been I'm not trying to like toot Tonio's horn, but like my only interest right now is just talking with Tonio and doing the
My
show.
guy.
So it's kind of funny. Like I have the other brand and it's a good sized brand, but it's just, I don't have a desire to like do it anymore. I think I'm just burnt out, but I love
We all have,
this. So it's
yeah, we
like,
all have phases, you know?
yeah, I'm not burnt out of bodybuilding. I'm just burnt out of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's
It's
kind of
like
interesting.
chapters in a story, you know, like
Exactly.
every
Yeah.
story is chapters. And I think that something about life is like not being stuck in a chapter. It's like sometimes the story evolves, and that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. You know, the story builds on, each chapter builds on one another, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tonio's not riding a motorcycle anymore. Like
Yeah.
he's transitioning. Yeah. And now
Yeah,
he's
you get
taking a
lucky
real
wins.
off season, like a true off season, and he's going to come into 2025 an absolute monster. Man, we're excited.
Yeah, bigger, better.
Yeah, it's going to be a good year. 2025 is going to be a very exciting year for bodybuilding, I think.
Yeah,
We've got new
especially at
shows.
the beginning of the season too.
Yep. More prize money, more shows.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh
that's
is
good.
men's open.
Right.
Germany has a men's open.
Great.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm not deployed, so I'll be able to actually watch the whole season.
Nice.
Like I missed everything from the Arnold Brazil,
Mm-hmm.
Detroit, New York, everything. I missed everything up till, was it Texas or Tampa?
Oh yeah, that means
And
you
even
missed
then I was still
Cal,
deployed, but I was just like
Chicago.
trying to like watch it and it was just like brutal. I don't know if you guys can hear her, but I have a stray cat that comes by and I'm
Man.
such a like gentle soul, like I have to feed her. So my
That's why he's
girlfriend's
That's
crying.
why
uh-huh
it keeps
my
going
girlfriend's
by.
taking the cup out there and just, there you go, mama. So it's just funny. It's a, yeah, phases is an interesting thing to go from living in an apartment with I had a whole extra bedroom that I built into a studio with the acoustic padding and everything, to go from that to now I live in an RV and
Really? Nice.
yeah, and you wouldn't even, I mean, if you know what an RV looks like, you can tell by the window, but
Okay.
I mean, I've got the good camera and the good microphone, so
Yeah.
you know.
Cool.
So
You liking the RV living better than the?
I enjoy knowing that my money is going somewhere.
Yeah, I got you.
You know, all my bills included, you know, electricity, septic, water, and then the actual property rent, I pay about $40 a day. And in
Damn.
San Francisco, that's a good price.
That's very
Yeah.
nice.
So, and then I pay like $500 a month right now to pay this camper off, but that's like an aggressive payment.
Yeah.
I think it retailed around like, it was like 35. No, 32. It retailed at 32 and the family I bought it from gave it to me for 15. So
Oh
it was
wow.
just an absolute blessing. I couldn't say no.
Yeah.
And now my girlfriend is looking at, you know, I've been in the Army for 14 years, but she's looking at joining the Air Force now. So probably a year from now, she's going to be mobilized out in Alabama or something, and I'm going to pull the camp right behind her. And I think I'll get to take a break then and be a full-time YouTuber and hopefully go to school. I think I'm going to go back to school for like, I don't know, my brain always goes to massage therapy because I've done physical therapy my whole life with my injuries. I feel like
Yeah.
I know how it works. You know, I know how the body works. I think that would be a fun thing to do. That's not IT. I've done IT forever. I'm not tired of it because I'm good at it, but I don't know.
Yeah. I get it.
Just talking about, you know, stages, you know,
Yeah.
I'm leaving everything open. I'm not saying no to anything anymore because I think Tonio knows more about Aaron. You're new to me, but like my personal, like my life exploded a couple years ago. And I think it was just, I was holding on to everything so tight that there was like no movement. And then now that I'm kind of like completely I just let go. everything's been working out really well in a weird way.
It's how that works, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Like you
Absolutely.
can't control, I don't want to say destiny, but like you just can't control it. You got to let it just, it's going to go somewhere. You just need to check your boxes, make sure you're doing what you need to do, but you got to let the winds push your sail where it needs to go.
Right.
Sometimes you're trying to fight the current. Sometimes you got to just ride the wave. Ride the wave. Yeah.
Ride the wave, brother.
He got some soul.
Yeah, I could hear it in his voice. Well, I knew Aaron was gonna be cool because when I saw that beard line, I was like, "Ooh, shit, he's a cool cat."
It's a cool cat.
Hell yeah! Oh man. Oh,
Did you get Did you either one of you guys get questions?
yeah, I got.
was just thinking about.
I got two. I'm sure you guys got a bunch.
Yeah, I sent them to the message.
Yeah.
Did you? Oh, good shit. All right, let's pull it up. So I know on the post itself, campus, huh? Or campus, huh?
He's my client, actually. That guy.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
Shameless plug.
Okay.
So what's Aaron? What's your current plan on leveraging social media to further your coaching reach and influence?
All right. Take over the world. I am interested in. I've thought about, and I would like to start a podcast. I think the more I talk, and the more podcasts I'm on, I'm like, I could do this. And I've got so many crazy stories and things to talk about. So I'm going to do that. Just branching out my content types, I think, is important. It's very easy to do the Instagram. I don't say very easy, but as far as content goes, just by myself. But to branch out and do some more high quality stuff. Yeah.
I'd like to, yeah. I'm gonna binge your teaching whiteboard stuff because I watched a couple of them and I'm like, I've always loved that. During pandemic, I was doing like whiteboard workout videos. Yeah, there's I can't remember which organization it was for because like I was still active duty at the time, so everything was locked down. I was stuck in my apartment getting paid active duty pay to just work on a computer. So I built a standing desk in my garage and I just started buying gym equipment because I was like I had no expenses and I had like a full gym in a garage essentially, and I was doing videos for, it was like a association, it was some sort of like nonprofit organization, and they let me get access to their Facebook, and I was like streaming workouts where I'm like, all right guys, we're going to do a Tabata styled workout, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. And the people that would join were always just like old retired army people, and it was always it was like a weird energy, but like I enjoyed it. And so like I very much enjoy the coaching aspect of running people through workouts, and life coaching somehow I've always kind of like gravitated towards, even though I'd never let someone pay me to do it, but I've always been good at listening to people. And that's probably why I'm good at facilitating. Yeah. It's most of what everything is just listening to people and just trying to help them, I don't know, just like untangle their brain. Yeah. It's like
everything's like a Rubik's Cube. You just got to, why you just going to,
Sometimes people just need to explode, and then you just kind of pick it up and put it together for them. You're like, well, this is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah.
And it's a very rewarding thing to do. But Tonio, do you coach like lifestyle people?
Yeah, I have a few lifestyle clients.
I thought so like you probably get a little bit of that, you tell them like, hey, like, where's your check-in? And then they like give you like crazy story, and you're like, okay, well, let's not do that.
Or they don't send them, they're just like send their body weight, or it's the opposite. They'll send the pictures but no weight. And then ask, hey, is the diet changing? I'm like, is your weight changing? I don't know.
Yeah. I need my tools.
Yeah. But yeah, that, and usually like when it's the bigger ones, the bigger clients I have, it's more like, this is too much food. Like, I can't eat that much. And I'm like, the reason why your body isn't changing is because you're not eating enough. And
It's
then they get so
weird.
confused off of that. I'm like, so the best way to explain it is like giving a car gas. You know, the more gas you give, the further it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, feed the beast. And then once they grasp that and then they see the changes, then it's like, okay, can I eat more? And I'm like, no, we can't do too much now. We
Yeah.
gotta find our happy medium. So
Mm-hmm. No, I've never had a good
Yep.
relationship with food, so I'm one of those guys that's really hard to feed because it's a horrible relationship, like my whole life. And like a context for Aaron, like my whole family's like morbidly obese. They're all like 300 plus pounds. So for me to be the exact opposite and be so into fitness, and the military kind of helped with that as well. I just,
Right.
I think we were joking on last week's podcast. I'm like, my relationship's so bad with food, it's got to be really simple. Eggs, rice, chicken, beef. I can't have anything else. Like my girlfriend does like sweets and stuff, and if she leaves it on the counter, like I can eat like half a box of muffins or something until like I'm like about to throw up, because it's just like I have like that impulse thing is gone, because I think
Yeah.
I've just been like I've limited myself to like no to everything. It's
mhm.
when I let myself think it's yes. And maybe that's the same thing with drugs. Like if I just let myself yes that one time, it's just like a that dopamine hit, just bang, 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 bang.
Well, it's an interesting topic because I mean, like, I the reason I got into bodybuilding was I had eating disorders,
Mm,
and it was like my attempt to save my life,
wow.
because I couldn't control it, and it was like I was going to kill myself. Like, I was like 110 pounds,
Yeah.
and yeah, and so like kind of it gave me something to control. Um, but yeah, I mean, bodybuilding in relationship with food it's another thing I warn people about,
Hmm.
because I've been around eating disorders a lot myself, and then I have a sister, my younger sister, right below me. She died this year from
Mm,
anorexia. So like, it's something that has been around me a lot, and so I see it in people, who are competing, and I see like, because a lot of bodybuilding is kind of like a rewarding like eating disorder.
yeah.
And I say that like I'm not trying to bash it or be negative, but like it is what it is. It's like, and if somebody's kind of on the cusp, like it can really push them over and like create a lot of problems for people. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Giving moral value to food groups, like, oh, that's bad food, that's good food. I
Yeah.
I dated somebody who she was telling me like there is no such thing as a bad food. I'm like, well, there is for me. And
Yeah. It's, yeah.
so it's definitely I mean that's like a whole, I've always wanted to watch RX Muscles. He has like a therapist that comes on. I've always wanted to like watch that stuff to see if she talks about people's relationship with food. I think it's called Iron Therapy, but there's just so much content out there. It's hard to
Yeah.
watch it all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I can knock out a little bit of RX, a little bit of Cutler Cast, I mean, yeah, desktop bodybuilding, it's just it's so tough. Let's see. Compost put another question in. When struggling in life, when struggles in life happens, how do you stay on track and not let that affect your training and diet?
I was like, that's for you.
That's for me. Okay. Uh, shit. Through everything that is I've done to myself and I've been through, like, I always trained. Like, I never didn't train. Like, even when I would be like a wreck, like on drugs, and like I would still be in the gym training. And I think it's because it is such a like huge part of my identity, of like somebody who does that regularly, that like it's not a conscious like should I or shouldn't I.
Mhm.
Like, I tell people it's like a multiple choice. Like, you get to choose what you have for A, B, C, and D. And it's like, you shouldn't like, there shouldn't be a multiple choice for like, well, do I feel like going and training today? Like, no, you just like, that's just part of the day. Um, And
That's so
obviously,
true.
like, there's exceptions to the rule, but like, if you have in your multiple choice, like, I'm not feeling up for it today, like, you're going to choose that a lot. Well, I've got a lot going on. Like, you're going to choose it. Like, so it's like, don't have it in there. You know, it's not a choice. Like, it's just like, we're just going to do this. And not every workout's going to be the best, but like, it's just going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like having a structured day. Like, you're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to brush your teeth. Okay, I'm going to go to the gym. I might not be hitting, RPE 10, RPE 9, rate of perceived exhaustion for everyone. I might not be going 100%, but if I can just get in there, I think for me, it's always felt like I had a successful day if I just was in the gym.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be a chest day. It could be an accessory day. It could be the stepper. It could be stretching. I mean, for me, like with my injuries, like just going in there and doing deep stretches, sometimes I feel better than a full workout. But, a military man that I am, structure is a huge thing for me. And being able to just get a workout in is like such a huge validation to talk about when Aaron said multiple choices. Like, it's just one of those things you just got to do.
I think people get, and it's has a lot to do with like the image that's been put on people of like the hardcore, like it's either 100% or it's 0. And it's like, no, that's not reality. Like, it'd be much better to train at 75% consistently, and you'll get there. Like, you'll get there. Like, you don't have to be like a maniac and then be burned out by the end of the week. Like, just keep going, and it's like, I don't know. I think that's a thing. Like, people are like, oh, I just won't be able to give my best. It's like, who gives a fuck? Like, just go. Like, give what you have.
Yep. No one's watching. No one cares.
No one's watching. But if you want to get somewhere, like, you gotta drive a little bit every day, right? Like, you don't just sit in a hotel. Like, yeah.
Very true. Tonio, you said you had some answers?
Yeah, I posted them in the group message you did.
Oh, that. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Yeah, I just sent them all there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in here. I have them up.
Oh, it says messages unsupported. If you guys want to read it, I can't see it.
Oh.
Unsupported message, yeah. Well, I can only use it through the app. I'm on my computer. I don't even have my phone with me. Yeah, I do. It's between my legs.
Someone asked, can you explain peak week for naturals?
Boy.
Same damn thing.
You're gonna take it to this one?
Yeah, you got it. Take a spell.
Take a spell. I mean, oh man. I don't like, well, okay, let me rewind a little bit. People ask all these peak week questions, and I'm like, relax, dude. Like, you're not in shape, Like,
it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, well, okay. I'm not gonna say peak week doesn't matter. It does.
Well,
but
if you're not in shape, it doesn't matter.
Right. Unless you're gonna be me at that San Antonio, but hopefully you're not. Most of my, and this is obviously not natural, but most of my best looks like I just kind of coasted in there. I don't know about you, Tonio, but like I just kind of stopped training by the end of the week and then cut my water a little bit and just went up there. And I'm not saying I've done like a mild water load and deplete, but like, man, minimize it. Like, minimize that shit. Like, the less is absolutely more.
Right.
Just get shredded. Just do a tiny little twist of the knob, and then like you'll be all right. Maybe take expel, like you said. You'll be fine.
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
From MHP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still sell it. They killed it with that product because everybody has to take it.
Right. I still hear about that.
Yeah.
That was my the only show I showed up good and natural still for me. I got pretty lean to where I could start to see a little bit of the lines in the glutes, which was a first for me. And like I could see abs. I still think I'm waiting to get super lean on this prep to see if I actually have gyno or not. But I'm pretty sure there's a crap ton of stuff down there because I remember when I was super lean and I was doing like I was doing like a most muscular, and like the titties were just looking like udders, and I was like, it just didn't make sense to me. So I
Have
mean,
you had
it's
gyno, Tonio?
You said
have I
what?
what?
Have you had gyno? Like, have you had a cutout or anything?
Yeah,
Gyno?
so I had, what is it called, pubescent or whatever.
Okay.
So it's funny, because I had it when I competed in 21
Okay.
at Indy,
Yeah.
and I remember leading up into it, people were like, "Dude, you're not gonna win with that." Like it was bad, and I never really paid attention to it because all my friends, had it. Everyone we played football with, the locker room were changing. It was there. We didn't bat an eye towards it until bodybuilding, and then that's when I became so self conscious about it. Like I was like, I'm done competing until this is gone.
Mm.
We
Yeah.
won Indy, and then that's when I was like, this is getting done.
Yeah. Yeah. I had it. I told this story on a podcast just a couple of weeks ago, but I so I started getting gyno, and I was like, I think it was 20 years old, and I took a pro hormone, which you shouldn't do that. But they had all these ones back then. It was like H draw, like super draw, all these things that you could buy
Right.
on the internet, and they would just show up at your house, um, with your credit card. It was legal. And I remember I started getting gyno, and I was like, no, it's not gyno. Like, it's fine. And um, then eventually it was like I couldn't deny it anymore. I was like, yeah, I've got gyno. And I was always trying to like make them so they didn't look like point.
Uh-huh.
I remember I would go to the club, wear a tight shirt, and I would like put tape on my chest to try to like make it so they didn't look like they were sticking out. And but I was like desperate to get rid of it, and I was broke as fuck. So I was shopping around, and it's expensive, like,
Hell
and
yeah.
I mean it's probably more now. Back then it was like 6 grand or something, which when you're broke 20-year-old is like a shitload of money.
Right.
Uh, So I was like, oh. So I tried to tell them, I was like, oh, it's from puberty. I used to smoke pot, and I went to this guy, and I don't know where he's from, like Austrian or something. And he was like, oh, I have good news and I have bad news for you. He's like, the bad news is insurance will not touch this. And I was like, okay. And he's like, the good news is I will treat it like a wart. I'll cut one side out, $400. I'll give you 50% off the second side, $600. They do the whole job, $600.
Whoa.
And he did it in his office. He cut him out while I was awake in there. And
Oh shit.
$600. And I asked him, I was like, how long do I need to not train? And he was like, oh, I don't care. It's internal stitching. Go back whenever you want. And I was like, cool. I like that answer, because everyone online is like at least, 6 weeks, something like that.
Right.
And, my mom made me go to the beach the day after. I was on a vacation, like, with my, like a fat kid at the beach, my shirt on, my bloody nipples.
Yeah.
And then I came home and I was like, I feel so small. I have to train chest. And so I went to the gym and I started training. And I was like, I'm getting the craziest pump. Like, it's just crazy. And of course, like they were filling with blood, from
Yeah.
the wound. And I went and he drained them like into this like bucket. Like he pulled all this like blood out of it. But they healed fine. He did a
Oh
Wait,
good
wow.
for $600.
so what you're
That's crazy.
saying is I can
Wow.
afford $600. I could do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, well, good luck.
Make sure you
Every
tag
time I
this
tell
guy.
that story, people are like, "Who is that guy?"
Yeah, tag him.
Like, not going to be. So there's actually a better twist to the story. Is later on, I was dating this girl who wanted to get boobs, and
Sweet.
um, she was talking to my mom, and my mom was like, "Oh, you should go to the guy who did Aaron's tits." He's like, "I've sent all my girlfriends there." And she had sent all of her sorority sisters to get like the best priced boobs in town from this guy who did my gyno surgery. And then my ex-girlfriend went and got boobs from him too. So maybe it was like he ended up making it back, whatever he like the discount, whatever he gave me.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. So you were awake when he was doing that? Like, did he like numb you up or anything?
Yeah, he numbed me out. He put like a little C-section thing.
God, got you,
Okay.
got you.
I was like, "Can I watch?" He's like, "No, you'll tell me what to do."
That's funny. You'll
Yeah.
tell me what to do.
And I asked, I was like, "Can I take them home?" And he's like, "No, what do you want to make an omelet?" I was like,
This guy's great.
he wouldn't let me take them. Because my friends were like, "Bring your tits back in a jar," you know, like, and I was like,
Yeah, hardcore.
yeah,
He said no proof.
yeah. Well,
Oh, that's insane. I was definitely asleep for mine.
what? You actually see?
Oh
Well,
yeah, they put me out.
that's when it gets expensive, you know?
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
if you do it in somebody's office and just get a local anesthetic, like the price is so much lower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as soon as you got to go have an anesthesiologist involved, the price gets
Jumps up real high. Yeah, I think I paid $5,000 for it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The whole surgery?
Yeah.
That's actually a really good price.
Right. I
Yeah.
think me being because I was 212 when they did it, so I think with my weight being lower as well. Also because they give you anesthesia off of your body weight.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. That's
Yeah, but
expensive.
that's not you're not a small person though.
Not anymore, no.
No, but
Not
like
like I
even
was
then,
then.
like you were competing 212. You're not like a little like 160-pound dude.
Mm.
You know, like as a bodybuilder, you're like I was small, but like not really.
Still like struggles with doorways, like so
Yeah,
wide. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's the goal. Walk sideways through a door.
Bro,
yeah.
lived in an RV, man. Like if I do any kind of like lateral raises, I have to go sideways. So like you already made it, man. Life accomplished.
Want to knock out the rest of these?
Yeah, do a little rapid fire. So Tonio, potential show for next year. I know you said there's like a couple shows that you're thinking of.
Yeah,
Was it
so
Chicago,
Vancouver,
Vancouver? Yeah, that around
but
that
we're
zone.
gonna land with Legion.
Okay, you're gonna end with Legion. Start with probably Vancouver.
No, so Legion's first. They
Well,
moved
Legion's
it.
first. Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah, they moved it to May 31st to June 1st.
Okay, not a huge difference, but yeah, messes up
Yes,
people's
probably
plan a little bit.
a week after Cal.
Yeah. Okay. And you do Cal pretty often, but if you don't need
Yeah.
to, but you love competing, so we won't be surprised when you're there.
Yeah, it's right next door, you know. So.
Okay. So for LaMarcus Morris, probably Vancouver. And then your current weight right now, are you over 250 now?
Yeah, I'm about
Yeah.
about 256.
256.
Yeah.
All right. And there's no like actual goal weight. It's just like what you look like. Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler made sure to be clear not to chase a number on the scale.
Yep.
Because I was like 270. I want to be 270.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
How tall are you?
Romcheck.
5'8".
Tony?
Okay.
Romcheck Kirtland asked, "Are you doing Cali Pro?" Maybe. Here's a good one for both you guys from Billy Penafiel. I should probably not say the names. You never know what kind of weird stuff people can put in there. How do you handle nerves before a competition?
Oh wow. Honestly, I watch cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch
your
Hey
mind
Arnold,
off it. Hey Arnold. That's a good.
Okay.
That's a throw.
You guys remember Hey Arnold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey Arnold before the Arnold.
Of course, the required muscle worship question mark with dollar signs.
Yeah.
Of course.
No, I'm good on that, dog.
Yeah. Who's better, Samson or Keon? That's a real question. Samson or Keon? What do you mean? What do you mean better? You know, like it's two different divisions.
Aesthetically pleasing, I'll say Keon.
Yeah, Keon's got like stupid structure.
Yeah, his flow's crazy. I don't think anyone has flow like he does. But I mean, if you put them both on the same stage, Samson's massive, you know, and he has aesthetics, right?
Yeah,
Keon
his off
won't look
season
as big as he is next to Samson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Keone is incredible. Like, if he stays in the 212, he'll just crush everyone. I don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
you know.
I think he'll stay there for a couple more years.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he can dominate. He can dominate it easily.
Well, it's like Bumstead never moving up to open. Like, why? It's like,
It's kind of a bad move.
yeah,
It's like you could be number one in the world, or you could be maybe top five, right?
yep. It doesn't sound as good.
It doesn't, even though
Mm.
the prize money in the open is significantly more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for someone like
Oh,
Samson or Keon, are they really hunting the dollar signs anymore? Like all those
well,
business adventures they got going on?
I don't think anyone's hunting the prize money. I
Yeah.
could be wrong, but
Yeah. It's like that title. Having that title's what what I
yeah,
mean?
right. Prize money is just bonus. Can't be counting on that.
That's all the good ones I see. Did you get any specifically for you, Aaron?
I think so. Yeah, I have just looking through the same ones that you were looking at.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of talked about what made you get into bodybuilding earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. If they're watching either one of you and they don't understand your backstories, I don't know why they're watching anymore. It's like the first stuff you learn. First episode is like, okay, who is Tonio?
Right.
Well, that'll do it, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Aaron, thank you for stopping by.
Jaded.
Let me pull up your page so we can plug all your goodies. And it will
My
be interesting
goodies.
to see what you decide on. I mean, you still look amazing, so
Thank you.
I'm definitely we'll keep following your journey to see what you got going on. But Aaron Clark, IFBB Pro, no space on Instagram, and he does have his coaching there, so you can check that out. Outstanding. And of course, Tonio, none of his stuff changes. It's the same thing.
Keep it simple.
Yep.
Just
It's like Tonio Burton, Tonio _Burton.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see. A lot of moving parts right now, so we're looking forward to seeing what's going to be happening in the following weeks. And we still got a huge lineup of like awesome guests. So for those of you who are listening, make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. You do the bell button so you get notified. But of course, outside of last week, because we posted on Saturday, Monday Morning Muscle is on Monday morning, so you can't get lost. You always stay tuned Monday morning. But that's it for me. You guys got anything else?
I don't think so.
Appreciate you coming on, bro.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having
I
me.
appreciate it. All right, guys, we're out.
Peace. Are you